When you cross the age of 50, life slows down in ways you don't always expect. The joints ache a little more. The morning walk feels shorter than it used to. A nap after lunch becomes a welcome friend. You smile at these changes, and you tell yourself, it's just aging. Everyone goes through it. But behind that gentle excuse sometimes hides a truth far more serious. A truth that millions of men and women only discover when it is almost too late. The truth of silent heart failure. Now the words sound terrifying. Heart failure. Most people imagine a sudden collapse, a dramatic clutching of the chest, a scene straight out of a movie. But reality is quieter, subtler, and far more dangerous. Heart failure is not the heart stopping. It is the heart struggling. It's pumping less, delivering less, silently weakening with every beat. And often, it whispers warnings that people over 50 mistake for nothing more than the ordinary wear and tear of life. Think about fatigue. Everyone over 50 feels tired at some point, but heart failure fatigue is different. It lingers, follows you even after rest. You wake up in the morning already drained, and you cannot explain why. Tasks that once felt simple, walking across the room, carrying a bag of groceries, climbing the stairs, suddenly feel heavier. You tell yourself, I'm out of shape, or I didn't sleep well. But in truth, your heart may be rationing its energy, struggling to deliver enough blood to your muscles. Or consider breathlessness. It doesn't arrive like an asthma attack or a sprint up a hill. It comes quietly. You walk a few steps and find yourself short of air. You lie down in bed at night and suddenly realize you can breathe unless you prop yourself up with pillows. That's because fluid has begun to pool in the lungs, crowding out the oxygen your body so desperately needs. Many ignore this, thinking it's just old lungs or perhaps a seasonal allergy. But often, it's a signal that the heart is failing to keep up. And then there's swelling, the kind that creeps into your ankles, your feet, your legs. Your shoes fit tighter. The elastic of your socks leaves deeper marks than before. Gravity pulls the excess fluid down, and you convince yourself it's just because you've been standing too long. But the truth is that a struggling heart allows blood to back up in the veins, and the fluid seeps into tissues. What looks harmless on the outside is a dangerous storm building inside. This is why doctors call it the silent killer. Because so many people over 50 mistake the whispers of heart failure for nothing more than life's natural slowing. And by the time the truth is uncovered, damage has already advanced. The statistics are sobering. According to the American Heart Association, more than 6 million Americans live with heart failure. Worldwide, the number is far higher, tens of millions. And the risk doubles every decade after age 50. By 70, nearly 1 in 5 people faces this battle, yet half of them don't even realize it until hospitalization. Why? Because the signs don't scream, they whisper. Science explains this silence. The heart can fail in 2 ways. It can become too weak to squeeze effectively, or it can grow too stiff to relax and fill properly. In both cases, the pump is compromised. Blood no longer flows as freely as it should, but the body is brilliant at adapting. It shifts blood flow toward vital organs like the brain, while starving the muscles and tissues of oxygen. You feel tired, but you think it's just age. You breathe harder, but you tell yourself you're out of shape. You see swelling, but you assume it's water retention. It is in these quiet misinterpretations that heart failure grows most dangerous. And the body does not stop there. Sometimes it gives you a cough, nagging one, persistent, worse at night. Many think it's asthma or allergies, or maybe just a cold that never fully left. But in truth, it may be fluid in the lungs, pushed there by the struggling pump of the heart. In some cases, the cough even brings up pink, frothy mucus, a chilling sign of fluid leaking where it should never be. Other times, the body tips you off with weight gain. Not the slow kind that creeps in with poor diet, but sudden jumps to 3, even 5 pounds in a matter of days. What you think is fat is often fluid, retained because the kidneys aren't receiving enough blood flow to function normally. It is your body holding on to water in desperation. These signs, fatigue, breathlessness, swelling, cough, sudden weight gain on their own may seem harmless, even ordinary. But together, they are like puzzle pieces forming a deadly picture. If you are over 50 and recognize 2 or more of them, your body is not just aging, it is asking for help. The consequences of ignoring these signs are severe. Untreated heart failure leads to organ damage, hospitalizations, and tragically early death. Nearly half of those diagnosed with advanced heart failure will not live beyond 5 years. That is a harsher statistic than many cancers. But here lies the hope. Catching it early changes everything. With treatment, lifestyle adjustments, and awareness, people can live long, full lives despite the diagnosis. The problem is not that the body doesn't warn us. It does. The problem is that we do not listen. So, if you are over 50, listen carefully. Your heart is not an endless machine. It is a muscle that has carried you through decades of joy, stress, love, and struggle. It deserves attention, deserves respect. Do not dismiss your fatigue. Do not ignore your breathlessness. Do not excuse your swelling. Because in these whispers lies the power to save your future. And this is only the beginning. In our next chapter of this journey, we will uncover why the human mind is so quick to dismiss these warnings, why heart failure is rising so sharply in people over 50, and what science can reveal through early testing, if only you ask for it, because the heart may whisper before it screams. And if you learn to hear it, you can act before it's too late. By now, you understand how silent heart failure disguises itself in the small aches, the tiny changes, the whispers of the body. But why does it happen so often after 50? Why does this age become the turning point where risk climbs and symptoms appear? The truth is not just biology, it is also psychology. When the calendar flips past 50, decades of living have left their fingerprints inside your body. Years of high blood pressure slowly stiffen the arteries. Small unnoticed heart attacks leave scars you never even felt. Diabetes, high cholesterol, stress, poor sleep each. One slowly chips away at the heart's strength. On the outside, you may still feel strong. You may still carry groceries, work long hours, play with grandchildren. But inside, the foundation has already been weakening. And then, one day, a staircase feels steeper, a night of rest feels shorter, and suddenly, what you thought was aging is really the quiet beginning of heart failure. But here's the cruel trick. The human brain resists bad news. Psychologists call it denial. When something threatens us, we protect ourselves by pretending it isn't there. You climb the stairs, you feel short of breath. Your mind whispers, "It's just weight. I'll exercise more." You wake up tired, just stressed. Your ankles swell. Maybe too much salt in the food. This denial buys comfort in the short term, but in the long term, it costs lives. Because heart failure never pauses. It never waits for you to be ready. It keeps advancing quietly, whether you believe in it or not. And then there is another bias. Optimism bias. The belief that bad things happen to other people, not to me. You hear of someone in the neighborhood rushed to the hospital with heart failure. You shake your head. You feel sympathy. But deep inside, you tell yourself, that won't be me. My family lived long. I still feel okay. But optimism bias doesn't change biology. The arteries don't care how positive you feel. The heart muscle doesn't care how strong your will is. The damage builds anyway. Science shows us the danger clearly. Research has found that on average, people wait more than 6 months from their first symptoms of heart failure before seeing a doctor. 6 months of fatigue, 6 months of swelling, 6 months of shortness of breath, and 6 months where the heart loses precious strength it can never regain. By the time many people finally walk into a clinic, their condition has already become advanced. And advanced heart failure is much harder to treat. But what if I told you that medicine has tools to catch the disease far earlier? Tools so simple that many can be done in a single doctor's visit. A simple blood test BNP or NT-probe, PNH can reveal if your heart is under stress long before symptoms grow severe. An echocardiogram, an ultrasound of the heart, can show exactly how strong your heart pumps. Even a basic ECG, something as routine as checking your pulse on a screen, can catch silent damage. These are not rare, expensive technologies. They are available in clinics and hospitals around the world, yet millions never ask for them, because they dainty know they exist. Tor they dainty believe their symptoms are serious enough to deserve them. That is the silent tragedy. The body, however, keeps leaving clues. Think of the nights. You'll lie down to sleep, and suddenly you cannot breathe. Sit up gasping for air, desperate, your heart pounding. Many think it is a nightmare or anxiety. But doctors call it paroxysmal nocturnal dyspnea, terrifying warning sign of hidden heart failure. It happens because lying flat allows fluid to shift into the lungs. What feels like a panic attack is actually your body drowning itself from the inside. Or think of the mornings. You weigh yourself, and in just one day, you are 2 pounds heavier. The next day, 3 pounds more. You shake your head and laugh. I must have eaten too much yesterday. But that is not fetidous fluid, building silently inside, suffocating the organs, overloading the heart. Now, here is something even more important. Heart failure does not look the same in men and women. In men, the heart often grows weaker at pumping, what doctors call reduced ejection fraction. In women, the heart often grows stiffer, unable to relax and fill properly. The symptoms can feel different. Women may notice fatigue and shortness of breath far earlier, while men may see swelling and fluid buildup. But here's the danger. Women's symptoms are often dismissed. It's just menopause. People say it's stress. Even doctors sometimes underestimate them. As a result, countless women over 50 live with undiagnosed heart failure until it becomes critical. So if you're a woman listening now, let me say this clearly. Do not allow anyone, including yourself, to dismiss your symptoms. Your heart deserves to be heard. Imagine this picture. 2 people, both 55 years old. One listens to the whispers, the fatigue, the swelling, and asks for tests. Their heart failure is caught early, treated with medicines, lifestyle changes, and careful monitoring. They live another 20, even 30 years of full life. The other ignores the same whispers, convinced it is just aging. By the time they arrive at the hospital, breathless and swollen, their heart is already failing badly. The outcome is far harder, far shorter. The difference between the two is not destiny. It is awareness. And here's where psychology can actually save you. See, the same brain that tricks us with denial can also protect us with habit. Studies show that when people over 50 keep a simple health journal writing down their weight, their symptoms, their daily energy, they catch problems months earlier than those who don't. Why? Because patterns become visible. That small weight gain is that increasing breathlessness, that swelling in the ankles. When it's written in front of you, it cannot be explained away so easily. It is a small act, but one that can mean the difference between silent suffering and early rescue. So what should you do? Begin with listening to your breath, to your body, to your fatigue. Do not normalize what is new or unusual. Then track. Weigh yourself every morning. Keep a note of your symptoms. Ask your loved ones what they notice, because often they see changes before you admit them. Got them. And most importantly, speak. Speak to your doctor. Ask for the tests. Demand answers. Silence will never save you, but speaking might. In the end, heart failure is not silent because the body gives no warnings. It is silent because we choose not to hear them. But now you know better. You know how psychology tricks you into denial, how science can expose the truth early, how everyday clues can guide you if you pay attention. And in the final part of this journey, we will go deeper still. We will explore not only how to spot the symptoms, but how to fight them through lifestyle, diet, movement, and treatment. We will uncover the most powerful steps you can take after 50 to protect your heart and extend your life. Because spotting the whispers is only the beginning. Living free from fear, that is the true goal. You've heard the whispers of the body. You've seen how psychology can blind us to the truth. But here's the most important part: what you do next. Because knowledge without action is powerless. When it comes to your heart, hesitation can cost years of life. Let us begin with the simplest truth. Heart failure is not the end. The name itself is misleading. People hear failure and imagine finality. But in medicine, heart failure means the heart is struggling not, that it has stopped. And a struggling heart can be supported, strengthened, and protected. Millions of people live with heart failure for decades, full lives, meaningful lives, because they acted early and wisely. So, what are the steps? What can you do right now if you are over 50 to protect your future? First, lifestyle. Your heart is a muscle. Like every muscle, it grows stronger or weaker depending on how you treat it. Movement is medicine. Doctors once told heart patients to rest endlessly, but science has proven the opposite. Regular, gentle exercise, walking, cycling, swimming actually strengthens the heart. It improves circulation, lowers blood pressure, and teaches the heart to use oxygen more efficiently. Even 20 minutes a day can be transformative. But here's the psychology. Many over 50 believe it's too late. They think I've never exercised, so what's the point now? The truth. Even beginning at 60, 70, or beyond brings measurable benefits. Your body doesn't care when you start. It only cares that you do. Second, nutrition. Every bite you eat is either medicine or poison for your heart. Diets rich in vegetables, fruits, lean proteins, and whole grains reduce strain on the heart. Salts so small yet so powerful can be a silent enemy. Too much sodium traps fluid in the body, overloading the heart, worsening swelling, breathlessness, and fatigue. If you are over 50, cutting down on processed foods. Restaurant meals heavy with salt and packaged snacks is not just advice, it is survival. Instead, choose fresh, simple, nourishing foods. Science shows that a Mediterranean-style diet, olive oil, fish, nuts, vegetables, beans lowers the risk of heart failure dramatically, and hydration matters too. Drinking the right amount, not too little, not too much, helps the heart maintain balance. Third, weight and blood pressure. These two are silent partners in heart failure. Carrying excess weight makes every beat harder, every pump heavier. High blood pressure is like a storm battering your arteries day after day, year after year, until the heart finally stiffens or weakens. The good news? Even small reductions matter. Losing just 5 to 10% of body weight can lighten the load on your heart. Lowering blood pressure by even 10 points can dramatically cut the risk of worsening heart failure. Fourth, medications and treatment. For many, lifestyle alone is not enough. And here is where modern medicine shines. Drugs like ACE inhibitors, beta blockers, RNI, and diuretics don't just mask symptoms, they slow progression, improve survival, and restore quality of life. But the key is adherence. Too many stop their pills when they feel better. That is like stopping antibiotics halfway through an infection. It allows the disease to return stronger. If you are prescribed medication, think of it not as a burden, but as an ally, a shield for your heart. Fifth, regular monitoring. If you are over 50, your calendar should not just hold birthdays and holidays, it should hold checkups. It's blood tests, blood pressure readings, heart scans. It's because what you measure, you can manage. And do not underestimate technology. Home blood pressure cuffs, smart scales. Even wearable devices that track heart rhythms, these are tools that put power back in your hands. A sudden jump in weight, a drop in oxygen, and a regular beat, these can be early alarms you catch before crisis strikes. And now let's talk about something often forgotten: emotional health. Living with the risk of heart failure is not just physical, it is psychological. Fear, anxiety, depression often follow diagnosis, and these emotions themselves can worsen the disease. Stress hormones tighten arteries, raise blood pressure, and burden the heart. That is why community, connection, and support are as vital as medicine. Sharing with family, joining support groups, speaking openly about fears, these lighten the invisible weight the heart carries. Because a heart burdened by loneliness beats harder, weaker, shorter, but a heart lifted by connection beats longer. And then there is sleep. Science has revealed that poor sleep, sleep apnea, and irregular schedules all worsen heart failure. If you snore heavily, wake up gasping, or feel exhausted, even after a night in bed, your heart may be begging for oxygen it never received. Treating sleep apnea, improving sleep hygiene, going to bed at a regular time, of these strengthen your heart's recovery. But above all, here is the lesson I want to leave with you. Heart failure is not destiny. Aging is not an excuse. Silence is not safety. Signs: fatigue, breathlessness, swelling, coughing, sudden weight gain. They are not nuisances to ignore. They are warnings, gifts from your body, messages meant to protect you. If you're over 50, you owe it to yourself and to those who love you to listen, to take action, to refuse denial. Because time is the most precious currency we have. And heart failure, if ignored, steals it silently. But if faced, if fought, it can give it back. Picture yourself 10 years from now. You wake up, stretch, step outside. You breathe deep. Clean air fills your lungs. You walk without stopping. You laugh without coughing. You hold your grandchild without fear. Your heart beats strong, steady, grateful for the choices you made today.
Ow.
That future is possible. But it begins with listening to the whispers right now. So tonight, as you lie down, ask yourself, am I more tired than I should be? Do I breathe harder than I used to? Do my shoes fit tighter? My nights feel restless? My mornings heavier? If the answer is yes, do not wait. Call your doctor. Ask for the tests. Demand to know, because waiting for the scream is waiting too long. Your heart is speaking already. Listen before it's too late.